Well. Of all the humiliating, you can always count on your own kind. I just can't believe this. Anyways. Where'd it go? Okay. Hello everyone and welcome. I had briefly touched on this subject, and it's this politician here in the Bronx, borough of the Bronx. His name is Ruben Diaz Jr. And okay, let me just read. The number of Black and Latino students admitted to New York City's specialized high school in the fall dropping to the lowest levels in 3 years, making up 9% of all seats, is unacceptable. I agree. These results once again clearly demonstrate the need to change the specialized high school admissions testing process to make it a more fair and equitable process, something I have been a long-time advocate for. Never mind getting these kids help. Change the test, make it easier so that it can be fair to who? You're not even being fair to the kids that are doing poorly. Anyways. Hold on. Anyways, yeah, he wants to change the test. He wants to make it easier. No. No. Mm-mm. So, yeah, he's Puerto Rican. Ruben Diaz Jr., first of all, let me start this off. He's Puerto Rican. And basically what he's saying is that the Black and Latino students, not all, but a good percentage, are failing. And he's not saying let's get these kids into some help, some specialized programs, some tutorings. Nope. Make the testing easier. Most of these kids here in the Bronx, Blacks and Latinos, don't care about the test. They don't. You got to hear them talking out here. I don't care about that. So the kids that are doing good, the gifted and the kids that study hard, they get nothing. They get basically a slap in the face, like people like me just felt over this proposal. That's like when they were doing that everybody's a winner, giving everybody a trophy. That's why things are the way they are these days. You can't, and I'm going to get together with a few people, see what we can do about that. How about get the kids help? And the ones that don't want to, give them incentive, You got to do what you got to do, right? To get them going. But most of the kids here in the Bronx, Latinos, mostly, and Blacks, they're struggling. They are struggling. And making the test so that a kindergartner can pass it, and it's a test to get into high school? No, that doesn't make sense. Make that make sense. How? I was one of those kids that studied hard and did my work. And I took a, because I was always in public school here, getting jumped and mistreated and bullied. And I was sick of it. So I figured I got good grades and I can pass, really high scores. So I had my eye on the specialized high school. I took the test and I passed it. No one felt sorry for me. Very petite, very small Latinas getting jumped by all those girls, and they're big and they're beating on her and they're calling her names. No one said that ever. I did that on my own. I got out the Bronx and went to a good high school. And I got it on my own merits. Like I said, no one felt sorry for me or anything. Wow. Even if they could get into one of those better high schools. Okay, you lower the test. What's going to happen when they're in the high school? When they can't pass any other classes, what are you going to do then? You know, this is too much. It's insulting. It's embarrassing. It makes no sense. People, it really does not. Ruben Diaz Jr. has bumped his head. Try to get these kids help. Because just because you lower the standards of the testing as low as it could go, because basically you're going to have to lower really, you're going to have to go really low. What happens when they're in the school? When they can't pass one class? Are you going to lower everything? Come on now. And he says it's not fair that they can't get into the specialized school. You know what's not fair? The kids like me that study hard, that work hard, that you're doing this now over, that's not fair to kids like me. No, well, like I was. But there's a lot of kids that way now also, study hard. It's not fair to them. No, it's not. So they don't have to study hard or work hard, because here comes Ruben Diaz Jr. He's going to lower everything. Wow. I'd expect it from any other politician. I really am surprised that it was Ruben who came up with this craziness. Of course, okay. The number of Black and Latino students admitted to New York City specialized schools, high schools, in the fall, dropping to lowest levels in 3 years, making up 9% of all seats. Okay, let's be fair. There's a big section of females that are dropping out because of pregnancy. Let's just all make it clear and be honest here, okay? You have 12-year-olds walking around with bellies around here, okay? Ask me why I moved out of New York. When I was pregnant with my first son, Abe, may he rest in peace, I moved out because I started thinking, if I raise him here, he's got like not too many roads. Like prison was one. Because, okay, what if I did raise him to be a good kid? But still, there's a lot of, no. Prison, drugs, drug dealing, no, and no. Oh, you know what? No. So, yeah, a lot of the girls in junior high school here, that's why the numbers are really low to get into those schools. Not because, really, well, a lot of them are failing, yeah. But they need help. They need help academically. They don't need somebody to come in and make it easy or hold their hand. If you want to do all that, hand holding, get them good tutors, get them into good programs. Because I'm not against Blacks and Latinos getting into the better high schools. That would be awesome, actually. Is it really realistic? Well, yeah, what can I say? But if we want to change that, why not? Get these kids help. They really desperately need the help. And you can't go blaming the teachers. Teachers are trying hard. I walk by the schools and these kids are cursing, steady cursing these teachers out. Teachers are walking off. The head lowered because they can't. They can't even respond. They'll lose their jobs. I have a deep, deep respect for teachers. Teachers and police officers. Well, especially teachers, because they spend a lot of time with your kids. Just respecting the teachers. And they're trying their best to teach your kids. And get paid really nothing. It's embarrassing the amount of money they get paid. Yet people like LeBron James get millions. Make that make sense? You won't pay extra to a person or people that will spend hours with your children teaching them. But you're all right with giving millions to somebody who runs around in short shorts bouncing a ball. I mean, come on, people. We've got to do better. If it were up to me, the teachers would be getting... Don't get me started. Yes. I'm not saying sports figures don't deserve to get paid. But how do they get paid so much more than people that are responsible for our children, who are teaching our children? How? How did that happen? When? That's not right. And police officers put their lives on the line. Then they come into neighborhoods like, well, this neighborhood wasn't always like this. But now there's the no snitching since, anyways. And now they're offering $1,000 for information on anyone who's got a gun. Let me tell you something about the gang bangers and drug dealers. They say, oh, I don't snitch. And they do this whole hurrah thing, right? You know what's awesome? When you have a family member who works at the switchboards. You wouldn't believe how many of them, but they'll deny it. These drug dealers and gangbangers, they will deny it. They call police a lot. But they do it on the down low, like they say, on the down low, like sneak. My oldest sister was a police officer. She's retired. I tell you, one of you guys would have had one time that I somebody. Anyways, getting back to Ruben, right? He calls for changes to specialized high school admissions. There's a reason why they're specialized, dear. That's specialized for children who study and work hard and they care about their grades. I know I was one of those kids. Okay, let me see. In a letter to the members of the panel for educational policy, the borough president urges you to consider new admissions criteria at 5 specialized high schools. Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. is calling on the panel for educational policy, the body which oversees New York City's public school system, to use its power to change the admissions policies to 5 of the city's specialized high schools to make the process more fair. Translation, easy. Translation, embarrassing. In his letter, Borough President Diaz notes that the city has the ability to adjust the admissions process at 5 specialized high schools: Brooklyn Latin, the High School for Math, Science, and Engineering at City College, the High School of American Studies at Lehman College, Queens High School for the Sciences at York College, and Staten Island Technical High School. These 5 schools currently rely solely on the results of the specialized high school admissions test to admit their student body. I don't see the problem with that. The full letter can. A single test should no longer decide which students have access to our best high schools, said Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. The specialized high school admission test should not be the only metric in deciding who attends our specialized high schools. The panel for educational policy has the ability to move on changes to the admissions policies at 5 high schools without state legislative action and should move swiftly and judiciously to do just that. The most recent results of the specialized high school admissions test found that Black and Latino students have actually lost ground in recent years when it comes to specialized high school admission. Just 10% of all seats at the 8 specialized high schools were offered to Black or Latino students. It's not that they were offered, you have to earn, hello. And the percentage of Black and Latino students accepted to the city's specialized high schools actually decreased this year. Imagine that. Look at everything that's going on. Among the suggested changes, Borough President Diaz has proposed the panel for educational policy consider enacting for admission to these 5 schools are the consideration of student portfolios in math and science as well as grade point averages. Among others, the borough president has also proposed new borough-specific specialized high schools that would offer an automatic seat for the top 5% of students in each middle school in the Bronx and Brooklyn. Borough President Diaz has made increased access for undeserved communities to the specialized high schools and gifted education a top priority. You know what? I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Like, they're trying to pinpoint also the projects. I was in the projects when I took the test to get into the high school that I got into. I was in the projects. I don't know what they're talking about, pain and suffering and... Okay, let's get this straight. A lot of you guys probably don't know this, but in the projects, whatever your rent is right now, imagine half of that. Okay? Imagine paying half of that. And then imagine not having to pay electricity, gas, garbage removal, water. Imagine not paying all that and paying half of the rent. Now, how much pain and poverty do you think that is? And you might say, well, that's why, it's the projects. No one is stuck there. No one is stuck there. How is it that I, at 17, made it out? I weighed 98 pounds at 17. 98 pounds. There was nothing to me. I was this big. Barely 5 feet tall. How did I make it out? Because you can. You get stuck because the thought of paying for sewage, for water, for electricity, for gas, for full rent, that gives them reason why, to stay there. Because they don't want to, pay a normal rent and pay bills like a normal person. They don't want to. No, they don't. Ask anybody in the projects. If you offer them to help them move out, but you tell them you have to pay for your water, for gas, electricity, they'll tell you, count me out. I just find this so offensive. I always thought Ruben Diaz Jr. had a pretty good head on his shoulders. I wonder who really is behind this. My goodness. So yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair to those kids that are failing that no one's gotten them help. That's not fair. And a lot of kids, because I used to tutor, a lot of kids in junior high school, well, mainly in junior high school, they're not going to come out and say they need help a lot of times, because they're ashamed. But that's why you pay attention to those tests that they're taking while they're in middle school or in junior high school. That's why you pay attention to stuff like that. If you see that they're not doing up to par, they're not doing as well as they could, those kids you pull to the side. Let's say you get a group of them and you give them a test. And that's when you really be able to tell who is where. No, just let anybody. What are they going to do next? Oh, it's not fair, so anybody can get a bachelor's or a master's. Step right up. You don't have to spend no time sitting in a classroom, testing or not. It's not fair. Shut up. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I know you guys never seen me like this before, but this is very serious. I can't believe this is going on. Like, why? Why? I have so much respect for this man. Thinking, yeah, he's for us, you know? About time. Got somebody for us. That's Ruben Diaz Jr. right there. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm kind of thinking this. I don't think he came up with this all on his own. No. There's got to be some. Because Ruben Diaz Jr. actually was favorite, and I did vote for him. He's always done right by us, you know? Till now. Well, you know, yeah, you're not doing the kids any favors. Not fair. How old are we again, aren't we? By middle school, by junior high school. Shouldn't you be considered like a young adult when you're heading towards high school? You're basically a teenager, right? You're not 5 or 6 years old anymore, right? That's not fair. No, come on, cut it out. You know what's not fair? That you get a nice free ride like that while all the other kids had to study hard. Yeah, that's not fair. I don't know if they're still offering tutors in the schools. I'm not sure. Well, they used to. I used to be one of them. Mostly what I'd get is males. They wanted to play sports. They were good, but because of their grades, so they wanted to play sports. So they had to get tutored. And by the time I was done tutoring them, they passed. They passing their exams and they were doing great. I'm telling you this, it's it's disgusting. I can't believe the things that are happening today, you know? And by today, I don't mean by this day right here. I mean, overall, everything is going haywire. Dear God, please help us. Please, please help us. You have people, I don't know, do a lot of praying, but yeah, me and a bunch of other Latinas, we're going to get together and yes, we are. Make phone calls, write letters. We're going to do what we got to do. If we have to march up there, yes, we will. You'll be hearing about me. I hope I don't get locked up. Well, I won't make it my business to. But sometimes, you know, I mean, I do things peacefully because I've done marches before. I have for HIV, hepatitis C, for the LGBTQ. I've done them. Children, autism, I've done them. But always peaceful. Always peaceful. I am not a savage. I have enough education that I can speak to people. I know how to speak to people. Okay? Anyways, yeah, that's what had me all riled up about Ruben Diaz Jr. He's an awesome, awesome politician. Just this going on, and I know this is not just him behind that. Well, I have a very strong feeling. Whose crazy idea was this? I don't know. Okay, I shared that article, right? And this is what I wrote. See? Rose J. Rios. This is an insult to blacks and Latino children. So the answer couldn't possibly be that black and Latino children study so they can pass a test. It's, hey, let's make these tests easy. Lower the standards so they can pass. I thank God no one felt sorry for me. I passed on my own merits, not because people felt sorry for me. And I shared it, and a lot of people keep sharing it. This is so sad. Anyways, that's what I wanted to touch on. Just wanted to touch on that right quick. Thank you for hearing me out. And yeah, we are going to get together, a bunch of us, Latinos and Latinas. So far, that's what we've got that want to take part. So, yeah, we're going to do that so that our kids don't fall through the cracks any longer. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe. If you like these types of videos where I give my opinion, let me know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Share if you'd like. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the notification bell. But definitely, please subscribe. Help this channel grow. Can't do it without you. Can't do anything without you. So, yeah. Till next time, God willing, may you all continue to stay blessed, beautiful, and ciao.